This is Wow! What a week.
What a week. Politricks.
Hey, Ta, welcome to another episode of Wow, What a Week. Hashtag Politricks. This week, the G20 goes on without the USA and possibly Argentina. And depending on who else is going to toe the US's fake news, fake narrative line, others could also fall off along the wayside. The ANC closing ranks around Minister Mchunu, and one of Cyril's new ministers travels on a US passport. Plus, we unpack the judicial grey zone. And of course, there's a commission about old commissions. And the midterm budget reality check is also going to be happening this week on Wow, What a Week, hashtag Politricks. I'm fresh, he's Botsang, and I am post-op. That's why I'm wearing these. The glare is a lot, so don't think I'm trying to be an African dictator. Wearing sunglasses indoors.
Good morning, Fresh, and morning to the followers, viewers, listeners.
You know, when I met you about 2.5, 3 years ago, and you told me you had a bionic eye.
Yeah.
With Steve Austin.
Die
man van Staal. No, man, I didn't think 3 years down the line I'll be the one going in for cataract surgery and an intraocular lens.
Yeah.
And having to now be on treatment for 6 weeks until I'm healed.
Yeah.
But we're here, though.
But we must take it easy, and we had to be here. Thanks for the sacrifice, bro. I actually
Absolutely.
thought you won't make it, but thanks
so,
for sacrificing.
I'm sorry about the sunglasses. It won't happen again. Brother man, what's happening with the US and the G20 Summit? The G20 Summit is around the corner. Trump says we are not going to South Africa. There's terrible things happening here. Initially, it was I'm not going. And then it's J.D. Vance and a team of almost 700. Mm-hmm. And a part of me says minus 700 Americans is minus 700 problems, because just logistically alone, it's a problem.
Yeah.
They travel with jammers.
Yeah.
Babangata.
There's too many, especially when the head of state of America
That
goes to
brash
another.
allowed sometimes.
Look, it's
So it's not a loss.
You know, they even have a jets or two type of jets that carry their vehicles.
Yes.
And they don't use their embassy vehicles and,
Yes.
and all those jammers. It becomes a problem for the county of the city that's hosting them. And minus one problem when they are not here. But
so based on false intel, fake news, which is ironic because this is the one guy that swears that news are fake.
yeah,
A false narrative. He's going to make this call. And now even pull his vice president.
look, he pulled everybody out. He said no American will participate. So for me, no American, including the embassy staff, they will not participate in the G20. And Fresh, I don't think it's even fake or false, intelligence, because they know the truth. They were told the truth. The Americans know the truth. White South Africans stood up and said, hey, there's no genocide here. You understand? So I do not know why are they still pushing that and why other countries are buying into that.
Sure.
But I think, as President Ramaphosa said, it's okay if they've missed the train, but we are going to go on with the G20, and it's a missed opportunity. And as you said in your opening remarks, the EU is going to take advantage of this to reset itself in the world. Yes. The Asian tigers, as well as BRICS member states, are going to take advantage of the G20, whether it will get bigger and America will be left out. The challenge is South Africa has to hand over the baton to the Americans for the 2026 G20 that is being hosted and presided over by the Americans. And it's going to be a diplomatic challenge. How is South Africa going to do that when there's hostility?
Surely it's an opportunity also for the G20 or the G7 and the former colonies and people that they send aid to. Surely there's an opportunity to rewrite the rules. That if for whatever reason, especially for fake, false narrative reasons, you're unavailable to take over the chairpersonship, then you shouldn't be a chairperson.
Actually,
even just at a respect and diplomatic level, if that's how you operate, if you're going to be childlike in how you operate, we don't want to play with you. When is the world going to get to that stage?
Exactly, but they have an opportunity now one of the resolutions they can take in the next 2 or 3 days when they close the G20 summit is to say, but America is not yet who can take the baton from South Africa.
So who's next?
So who was next on the line? Can
Yes.
we hand over to next on line? They should be doing that at the moment to show to America you chose to be out. If there's a game playing and you prefer to be outside the field, then stay outside. You were not pushed out.
You don't want to be a part of the Paris Accord. We move without you.
We moved without
You don't want to be a
yes.
part of the G20 for whatever nefarious reasons. We move on without you.
This is what these members of the G20 should be adopting. Actually, when they sit there, you can imagine a meeting starts and the next chairperson is not in the room. Then the meeting ends, the next chairperson is still not in the room. You look at who's the next person to do that. That's the most logical thing to do. That's how countries of the world are supposed to be operating. Because this great America, or make America great again, the MAGA thing, all that, it's not going to be imposed on other nations.
Yes.
If they want to make America great again, let it be for their citizens and not impose on other nations. Like he has already now made a call to, I called the Argentinian president the American puppet, make a call to the Argentinian president who says he is also no longer coming to South Africa because of exactly the same sentiments. He shares the same sentiments as President Trump. And I'm saying, but, Argentina is supposed to be a sovereign, independent state. And why would they go with what President Trump is saying? Look, first, between today and on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday, I expect some other, heads of states to tone down their delegation or to cancel, to say, I'm no longer coming, I'll send my ambassador in that country or my foreign minister. I'm expecting them to do that.
So do you think Trump is going to lobby behind the scenes?
He is already lobbying. I can tell you he's already lobbying, and I think that's why President Ramaphosa took a hardline stance to say, President Ramaphosa has another problem. He will say these things on TV, on cameras, when passing, but in meetings, in addressing these platforms, he will not say that. And I think the correct platform to say it is not only in the media. Yes, the media will get the message to President Trump that South Africa says, whether you are coming or not, we are proceeding. The ship is sailing and we are not going to stop because the Americans are trying to discredit South Africa with things that have become lies. I earlier on spoke about a group of white South Africans who have actually written a petition to President Trump to say, but you are actually hating us. You are not hating a black government that you don't like in South Africa, and that's what the problem is. But for the Argentinians, by the way, I was saying on 938 Radio the other day during the week to the team, what is happening now with the USA reminds me of Peg Buota, my former Minister of Foreign Affairs. And I said he was actually bullshitting when he was addressing the United Nations years back, and he said during the sanctions, yes. And this is what Trump is doing. When Buota said to the United Nations or member states, he was talking about the sanctions, that should stop sanctions against South Africa. And he described South Africa as a zebra. The man was very smart, but he was talking nonsense. He said South Africa is like a zebra. The sanctions are like the arrow. So if other nations are going to take a bow and arrow and shoot the white stripes of the zebra will go down with the black stripes.
Okay.
So sanctions were not hitting only white people. They were hitting South Africa as a country. That was, his analogy of the whole thing. That's what Trump is doing now. He is trying to hate South Africa, the country, black government as he perceives it. And our government is not black. Understand? And that's what he perceives because of the ICJ, because of Israel and whatever he's thinking. But he's not realizing that white people that he's trying to protect are actually the captains of the industry and the economy. They own the land, they own the agricultural farming land, whatever. They own the stock markets in South Africa. They own businesses. So these tariffs, this boycotting South Africa, it is actually hating the same people that he's claiming to be protecting. And that's why white people are standing up. Even AfriForum has stood up now and said, but we never said that. We never said there's genocide. We never. So he is being isolated even by the same people that he was trying to help. But for a country like Argentina, very disappointed. It doesn't surprise me, by the way, Fresh, that Argentina is behaving this way. Argentina, for many who don't know, it's one of the most racist countries in the 21st century. And it's because of the British influence. They were never a British colony. Britain has taken some parts of Argentina, especially the islands and all
The Falklands,
that.
yes.
Yeah, the Falklands. So that racism that is happening in Argentina, it has a history of its own. The
So are
Argentinian
you saying this is
president
a
was
right-wing
today.
president
It's a right-wing president.
hopping on the bandwagon of demonizing Africans and African
Exactly.
leadership.
And that's the challenge. And what we should do, we should not cry for them. We should say those who hate us and they don't want to be with us, to work with us, it's good for us actually.
Yes.
Let them stay where they
And
are.
we have better stake than you anyway, Argentina.
Exactly. So certainly the G20, I don't know what's going to happen when it's 10 for South Africa. It is supposed to send delegates. Leaders of various G20 groups are supposed to be sent to the USA to work with Americans in preparing of the Americans hosting the G20 next year in 2026. Like we started working as a country in February 2025. The summit itself is happening 2 days in November, but the work has been done since February.
Sure.
So the same thing should happen from February 2026. South Africa is supposed to hand over to the US and they're supposed to have delegates who are sitting in the US, members and leaders of those. You know, they have various sectors. They have the B20, they have the S20, and all, depending which sector you come from. They're supposed to be working with Americans in preparations. And how is it going to work diplomatically? We don't have diplomatic representation. ABC Jonas is still sitting at the Department of Trade and Industry. How is it going to work? It's going to be a challenge. The most logical thing that the member states of the G20 could do now is to say, let the next person on the line take over the baton from South Africa.
You're not available.
Yeah.
So let's find someone who is.
Exactly.
And speaking of diplomacy and the fact that it's going to be a very long 3 years still, Brent Bozeli III,
Yes.
he's been nominated to be America's ambassador to South Africa.
Yes.
And already he's made it clear that his priorities are the African refugees,
The refugees.
South Africa's relationship with China and how it needs to tone down, and that the case at the ICJ needs to be
It
dropped.
needs to be closed, yeah.
Do we want a guy like that here?
I don't know why did we actually accept his credentials. The fact that he has pronounced on those three elements
Before he's even packed a bag.
Yes, in a prior, President Ramaphosa would have simply said to President Trump, we don't know a guy who's going to want to dictate to us who our friends are, how we should work with China. The Americans themselves have a relationship with China. They've got a relationship with Russia. They're still trading with Russia, even under the trade embargo. Why should we not? We know, and as President Mandela has said many years ago, when he was talking with reference to Cuba, to say, but your enemies are not our enemies. And again, it's disrespecting a sovereign state. And if we don't take a position as a counter to say we should not be bullied by America. Yes, the USA is an important trade partner. Yes, the USA has been a very big trade partner with the Republic of South Africa. But now, if you know, it's like you are in a forced marriage. Even if you are being abused in that marriage, you should just stay because the other spouse is more wealthier than you, or instead, or what will the people say outside? But no, we should show our sovereignty as a state. South Africa is a very rich country with minerals and all those things. We don't have to break down our relationship with the USA, but if the USA bullies us, we should be able to rise and say, but you can't bully us. We've got our own foreign policy. We are guided by the foreign policy that is informed by the Constitution and the people of South Africa and South Africa's interest.
Sure.
That's how we should approach this whole thing.
So it's fine. They can stay home.
No, let them stay home.
Yeah.
We won't have 700 Americans here. We won't have our phones jammed for the next 2 days during the summit. Let them stay home. I was going to feel sorry for the people around Nasrec, Soweto, and Joburg if President Trump would be here.
Sure. ANC NEC seem to be lagering around embattled Minister Mchunu, saying that he will not step aside despite the ongoing controversy. What are your thoughts on that?
Despite him having requested them or notified that he wants to step aside. Good enough for the ANC. They kept this very secretly. Apparently, the letter was received by the Secretary General in May already, and they kept quiet about it until the NEC had to deliberate on it. It was Minister Mchunu, according to the ANC spokesperson, Mebengu, that it was Minister Mchunu who requested the ANC leadership that he wishes to step aside and focus on the Mdlanga Commission, the ad hoc committee, and to clear his name, or whatever explanation he will give. But it's so funny, Fresh, that yes, there are policy that have been used. In my view, this ANC policy of step aside, it was used as a tool to manage the factions of the ANC, because there are other people who did not step aside when they were facing charges of corruption or allegations of corruption. Now they are saying Minister Mchunu must not step aside because he is not charged for anything. He's just facing an inquiry. You see, that's what I said when President Ramaphosa brought the inquiry in, to say he is toning down this seriousness of the allegations against the minister. And why do you want to, with the evidence that is already before us? That's another part I don't understand. The evidence that is before us, it is material evidence, not only oral evidence given by witnesses like Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, but there's documents, there's videos, there's records that have demonstrated that the minister's office himself has been in contact with the drug cartels or the alleged criminals and all that. And if the man says, let me vacate this position, Mr. Ramaphosa and the ANC, they've missed an opportunity. They've missed an opportunity that we are sitting with two ministers now and costing us, unnecessarily. And they should have taken the opportunity of Minister Mchunu saying, guys, let me step aside. While Zizi Koda did that, and his name was cleared after. Understand? He never even came back to the position that he could have occupied in the presidency.
And he had to forego a whole salary and benefits.
Yes. And now there's Minister Mchunu requested the ANC's request. I think they're shooting themselves on the foot. What is the ANC saying to the people of South Africa, its members or followers or voters? The people who vote, they're saying, somebody's saying, let me clear my name, let me step aside until this process is finished. And the organization says, no, you must stay put. Then you start asking yourself, what is it that Minister Mchunu has on the leadership of the ANC? What is it? And it's the same as you look at President Ramaphosa with the Pala saga, you understand, the CR17 zipped statements and all that. Yes, the ANC has the history and the culture of protecting its leader. They've done it throughout. But once it's damaging the organization and the reputation, they will lose further votes in future because of such a conduct. I mean, I was listening partially when the chief of staff, talking of Minister Mchunu, was at Mdlanga Commission this week. I just forgot his name, the chief of staff in the ministry. Also, he is protecting his boss. Actually, for me, the little I listened to is that he was protecting his boss more than himself, and to explain what was the relation, why was he in contact with the guy from Northwest, Brown Mokhotsi,
yes,
and other people. But again, as I've said, it is in the nature of the ANC people to protect each other, even if it's wrong. So I think it's going to create a problem for the organization, because if they are talking of self-cleansing, if they are talking about renewal,
yes,
and how do you renew when you can't call each other to order? When you can't say, but comrade, this is not acceptable. We can't have comrades who conduct themselves in this manner. And that's why people like President Mbeki will come and say the ANC is being infiltrated by Imi Godoy. For those that don't know, Godoy is a stray dog, you understand? So it's those kind of things that I don't think they realize the damage they are causing to the organization. But yeah, the ANC did not accept Mr. Mchunu's resignation from the position or stepping aside.
Let's go from resignations to firings or redeployments. So, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, Dion George,
yes,
has been shuffled out of the cabinet at the behest of the DA. But I remember on radio on Monday, you lamented the fact that Minister George has dual citizenship.
Yes,
And that in any other under any other circumstances, you would not be allowed to hold such a position and have dual citizenship.
Yes.
But how is a minister allowed to do that?
Look,
Because surely there's a clash of allegiances.
There is a clash of allegiances, but I think the bigger problem here, one is the presidency, because Mr. Dr. George
yes.
had said, he declared that he has an American passport. He's an American. He's got dual citizenship.
So
Now,
surely they should have said, then we send someone else.
yeah, but also, you know what I've discovered after? I think there's quite a number of people in Parliament and in the cabinet, even in the yesteryears of South Africa. A friend of mine reminded me how former Minister Kada Asma, when he was a minister, he still had a dual citizenship, which he relinquished eventually. But what I want to say is the problem is the policy or the law in the Republic of South Africa. Let me tell you why is it unfair and unjust that a person can be a member of parliament. You are a lawmaker, fresh, if you're a member of parliament. And I always lamented about one of the DA MPs, Mazzotti, who is Italian-born. I still think he's got Italian citizenship. There's nothing wrong in having duals. And he's an MP, yes. But you're a lawmaker, fresh. Which laws are you going to pass, push, and make? What if we are in a position that is supposed to make a law that is going to contradict what Italy likes about South Africa or what the USA, and it has come to catch up with us. Dr. George was part of the delegation of the DA that went to the USA SDA as a party, and he's an American citizen. And now we get surprised when the USA become hostile towards us, when one of their citizens came there and fed them poison. That's the first part. The second part is, which is, I saw he responded by saying, how do I put it? By saying, as protocol requires. He traveled with President Ramaphosa on an official trip to the USA. He's a citizen of USA in South Africa. And he used, guess what? The American passport to travel to America as protocol required. But which protocol? Whose protocol?
Does he not have
he has a diplomatic passport of South Africa.
So surely use that then.
Yes, he should have used that. He was part of the delegation. Which flag is that kind of a person owing the alliance to? Our policies allow us to can have dual citizenship with countries that allows as well. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I've got a problem with the country having people who are in key decision making, like the legislator, like the executive authority, and they have dual citizenship. Clearly, there should be a rule. And let me tell you why I'm saying this. The foreign service policy of the Republic of South Africa does not allow you to be a diplomat at any level. To be a diplomat if you have dual citizenship, especially with the country you are being posted to.
So you have to renounce one.
You have to renounce one, or you don't go. Okay. You are not allowed to be a South African diplomat to go and say.
Because clearly you're conflicted.
You are conflicted, you understand? And why is the same that is applied to DERCO officials? Why is it not applied to MPs or to the executive authority? And I think in President Ramaphosa, he didn't reshuffle the cabinet. The DA removed him. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking, what's happening in the DA. The DA removed him. Remember, they had a vacancy of the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry. President Ramaphosa also on Wednesday night, he put a Jacob Zoom on us. He announced the appointments at night when other people are already asleep. He replaced with Mr. Adam. The DA gave names.
Yes.
One of the names that the DA gave to President Ramaphosa was Dr. Geoff to be, guess what, the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry. But Mr. Ramaphosa smartly, so this was a smart move, rejected that. And I'll tell you why he did that. If you have already compromised yourself for having dual citizenship with America, the Department of Trade and Industry, where Mr. ABC Jonas is sitting, remember he's sitting at the DTI working with them to try and engage the Americans regarding the tariffs. Let me tell you, the DA was trying to go and use Mr. Geoff actually. To be the ABC of the DA inside the DTI. Okay. And the DTI is leading these engagements with the USA regarding the tariffs, AGOA, and many other things. So the DA was being strategic, and I think it was a good move that President Ramaphosa didn't appoint him as the deputy. But then he's been replaced by a DA leader as the Minister of Fisheries and Environmental Affairs.
Surely it's clever of the DA, though, to spin this as, Tina, the DA, we measure the work you're doing, and if we feel that you're not firing on all cylinders, we replace you with other people. Surely that's a master stroke in spinology.
It is, because then why would they still, if he was, remember, he is not being removed from the position because of the dual citizenship. They spinned it. They say because it was a cut of their midterm review. They've got scorecards for their deployees into government. Now the DA says he was not performing very well. And if he's not performing very well as the Minister of Fisheries, Environment, and whatever, why would you want forestry? Why would you want to go and make him Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry? That's what I'm saying. It was a strategic move for them in order for him, being an American, to sit in a department that is dealing with trade and tariff, and to look at a heavyweight like Pakster, Minister Pakster of the ANC, is one of the senior persons, most trusted people in the ANC. So I think the DA wanted to infiltrate that, but also the DA is occupying very strategic positions in the cabinet of President Ramaphosa, positions of infrastructure, money, as well as trade. You understand? The movement of trade, whether in agriculture or any other form of it, a very strategic position, immigration and all that. However, Fresh, you know what I'm thinking? Having listened to Mr. Steenhuisen, I think the Democratic Alliance is going into their elective conference next year. And Mama Zili and Steenhuisen, I think they've got a camp that is dealing with the other camp. And for Steenhuisen to stand up and say, yay, Mr. Ramaphosa, I think this man is underperforming. You know, I listened to the guy speaking. You could see that he was agitated to get this guy out. And I've never seen President Ramaphosa reacting so quick. Yeah. This thing happened on Monday. And by Wednesday evening, President Ramaphosa had already listened to what the DA needed. I understand it's their positions as agreed in the GNU. The positions belong to the DA. There's no law that says they belong to them, but it's the GNU agreement. And the president announced. But I think there is infighting inside the Democratic Alliance for power. And I think other leaders of the Democratic, they undermined Mr. Steenhuisen, and he's demonstrating that I'm actually the leader of the Democratic Alliance and you will toe the line. And they're using now the government to can deal with their internal squabbles. That's my analysis of this whole thing. But yeah, and I think it's a missed opportunity again. President Ramaphosa should have used this opportunity to fix the cabinet. On one side, Minister Mchunu is asking to go. On the other side, he's changing the DA and replacing. He should have taken this opportunity to reshuffle the cabinet, to remove deadwood, to remove people who are facing serious allegations. There's many of them. Yeah. We still have the case of Minister Simelane hanging over our heads. Understand? And we forget about these things as a nation. We forgot that we still have pending cases of allegations against a number of people. And if the president was very serious with this was an opportunity for him to could have reshuffled the cabinet, but it's a missed opportunity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to proverbial judicial gray zone.
Yes.
Thanks to you, I've just found out that acting judges in South Africa's high courts are technically not accountable to the Judicial Service Commission, meaning citizens can't file complaints against them and the JSC can't discipline them.
Yeah.
Surely there's a problem.
There's a serious problem. And you know, when I discovered this, actually I've been complaining about this because I wanted to go and complain about the judge who presided over my labor matter.
Yes.
And as I was doing research, and what the one advocate guy said to me, actually there's a discussion happening now within the judiciary or the judicial field, and it has been on the pipeline since 2011. In 2017, it was agreed that it's a problem that acting judges are not subjects of the Judicial Service Commission. The government was supposed to come with a policy or a directive on how they can handle this thing. I mean, 2017, this is 2025, and they haven't come with a final document that is regulating that anomaly. There are two reasons why there's so many acting judges.
Yes.
You know, if you go to the labor court, I told you that when I saw the titles of acting judge, AJ Stradom, AJ Sneeman, AJ Sorens, AJ, I was asking myself, why are all these African people, their initials are AJ? You know what is the AJ for? It's acting judge.
Yes.
So only after I learned, I'm like, why is everybody acting? Then there's a problem because of resources. They don't get enough resources from the treasury. They don't have money to can hire. Judges are not being hired, and it's understandable. The second part is there's so much volume of work that courts have, like the labor court, the criminal court. There's so much work. Now, where do acting judges come in, and who are acting judges in the Republic of South Africa? It is advocates who have served for over 10 years. Sometimes it's attorneys with a lot of experience in a certain field. They are requested to come and act, or let's say when a judge goes on maternity leave or there's too much volume of work, to come and act for a period of 1 to 3 months. Okay. Now, during that time when you are acting, you're an acting judge, so you don't do work in your practice because you must focus in helping the court in pushing work. Now, fresh, these people, if they behave in an unbecoming manner, or they do anything wrong, naturally or deliberately so, normally a judge, you will go to the Judicial Service Commission to complain. Like the Judicial Service Commission is presiding over the Benenge case, as an example. In the past, they presided over the case of Dr. John Hlophe. You understand? That's how the judiciary works. But with acting judges, because they are not sworn in as judges, they are not subjected to the process of the Judicial Service Commission. It's not fair on us as citizens.
Sure.
It is unjust. Because where do I go
For redress.
for redress?
Yeah.
Where do people go? And also, what recourse do we have as a nation when they have a misconduct? Where do we go? What happens to them? Are you gonna say you must go to a higher court? That's delays. That takes more money. But we're not talking about them making wrong judgments. We're talking about them conducting themselves in a manner or behavior that a judge is not supposed to conduct themselves. What will be the case? And the country has that gray area.
So what happens in your case then? You're not happy with the presiding judge. What's your way forward? What's your recourse?
The way forward is to go to the higher court. Like at the labor court, I took the matter to the labor appeals court. But you see what it does. It's costing more time. It's costing more money. And then you are going there to address what? To address the conduct of, or you are going to the appeal court to appeal on the outcome. It's a catch-22 situation because naturally you are supposed to separate the person from the content of the case. And in this instance, I'm not in a position to do so. So I have to tell the president of the Labor Appeal Court, who's the president of the Labor Court, to say, but this judge behaved in an unbecoming manner.
Yes.
Naturally, I would have wanted to take a matter like this to the Judicial Service Commission outside an independent body to complain and do that. And I was thinking in my matter, I must write to Chief Justice Maya without disrespecting the judge president and say, Chief Justice, I've learned this and there's this gray area in the law of the country. What do I do?
Yes.
Some people will suffer. Some people will lose. The day this piece of legislation is regulated or this gray area is cleared, imagine how many people would have suffered at the hands of acting judges. And it's a challenge. I'm one of the people, I feel strongly that this thing of judges being treated with kids' gloves is the judiciary.
Or that they're incorruptible.
They are incorruptible. They are human beings.
Sure.
And it's going to come out with this commission. It's going to come out more and more that judges are human beings. They can be corrupted by anybody like anybody else. And if you say judges are incorruptible, who is senior to judges? Is it not the president of the republic?
Sure.
And we have seen presidents being involved in acts that are not in line with the law. We had a president, we had a foreign currency hidden under a sovereign mattress. So who said the judge president of a court can't do the same? You understand? So I don't like this thing of people saying judges must be treated with gentle gloves as if they are not human beings. First, I recognize them as human beings. They are subject to everything that me and you we are subject to. They live amongst us. They are family people. That's why we have judges being impeached. That's why we have judges sitting in front of commissions. It just shows that they are human beings. They err as well. They do wrong decisions sometimes. And if we can start thinking along those lines, and I think the country will move forward. But hey, who am I to go and question the judges of this country? They are pure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next story, it's almost like from the Twilight Zone.
From the what?
The Twilight Zone.
Oh,
So
okay.
30 years ago, there was a TRC.
Yes,
There were recommendations.
yes.
People who did not get amnesty, these cases should be looked into further. And those that need to be tried for the apartheid era crimes must be tried. Wherever the investigation leads, it must happen.
Yes.
And now there's a commission of inquiry to look into why the recommendations of the TRC were not implemented and whether or not there was political interference.
You recall this?
Godongwana, Botsang.
It's a commission going to investigate the outcomes of a commission. Why were they not implemented?
Yeah.
Simple as that. And again, Fresh, it brings me to what I've been lamenting about, to say, are we not having confidence in our judicial system that we resort to commissions of inquiry? What is happening? For me, it's a highlight that we either do not trust or there is a problem with our judicial system or processes, which includes the prosecuting authority.
Because surely the recommendations are here in black and white.
Yes,
Take each file and accord it the attention it deserves.
exactly.
Surely.
Simple as that. And look, remember also South Africa formed the NPA post 1994, I think post the Constitution.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly the year when the NPA was formed. And this inquiries about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that was chaired by the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And I think it was fair. You know, South Africa had that process, which is regarded by many people in the world as a just process, you know, to reconcile, to be able to bring the perpetrators of apartheid to sit in front of their victims, as well as the former liberation movement soldiers or guerrillas to can sit in front of their victims and say, do we forgive each other or do we deny, or how do we move forward? A very good process, I think, if it would have borne the fruits that were expected. But it looks like the TRC was one-sided. It focused on only those who wanted to come forward and say, please forgive me. And we had to forgive the perpetrators of the apartheid South Africa, and not the other way around. Even some who never. We ask people to say, we'll forgive you even if you don't ask for forgiveness.
Yes.
Now there were recommendations out of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that said those who didn't want to come forward, or where the government at the time under President Mbeki, at a conclusion, it was concluded during the President Mandela term, but President Mbeki was running government, and he subsequently became the Republic of the President of the Republic. Now it looks like those files and recommendations that went to the National Prosecuting Authority to prosecute and to check the levels of prosecution. What was the level of the crime committed by Mr. X, and so forth and so forth. Now they did nothing. You know, ironically, Fresh, it was the Simelane family that you remember their sister who was bombed in Botswana. You once on the show talked about the story.
No. The sister disappeared. The sister was kidnapped.
Was kidnapped, yes.
When you're thinking of Vernon Nkadime.
Oh, that was the Nkadime, yes.
Nkadime was car bombed June of 1985.
Yeah.
I remember because we were neighbors and my school was 2 houses down from his flat.
Yes.
So the bomb that assassinated Vernon Nkadime shook our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's why I've never forgotten that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, during President Mbeki's era,
Yes.
the Simelane family, now I'm confusing them because she was married to the Nkadime.
Nkadimengs, yes.
Oh, then both families suffered, eh?
Absolutely.
So the sister was one of the
In fact,
people.
most families in the struggle
They were intertwined
made a
in
loss.
marriage. Yeah.
Or just lost someone, or someone is missing, or it's
Sure, that's it. It's them who were the first complainants. And then came the Steve Biko family, then other families of the fallen or lost heroes that disappeared or were murdered. Now we are sitting with the Kgapempe Commission, led by former Justice Kgapempe, who have led quite a number of commissions in the country, to go and look at why the NPA has failed to process or prosecute and close those files after almost 25 years since the recommendations. And I think also, Fresh, it's a lost opportunity because we are sitting with a situation where some of those people are in their 90s. I'm talking about the perpetrators of both sides. Some people have passed on, you understand?
In fact, many perpetrators got the easy way out.
Yes.
They quietly died and disappeared into obscurity.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate because 30 years ago, many of them were in their 40s and 50s.
Exactly. Or even if they're in their 50s, we should have taken the opportunity at that time. But again, it's not only a call on Shamila Batois because these files were there before her, but it demonstrates to us how our prosecuting authority is actually not well, oiled, part of the justice machinery. Something is not lacking in there.
Do you think it's an NPA thing, or is it a lack of political will thing? Or both?
I think mainly the NPA with political interference.
Okay.
Yeah, because the NPA, its dates existing, they have the files.
Sure.
And if they would have done their job, we would have not been sitting here discussing this matter. But they didn't do their job. The question is why. That's why this commission is going to find out why. Because there's allegations that there was political interference. And some are saying it was during President Mbeki's time. Some people are saying it was also not to open the wounds and to cause chaos, because some of the things that have happened, as we got to hear now with the founding father of the ANC, Chief Albert Luthuli, how he was thrown off a moving train and all that. You understand? So the family
was it thrown off a moving train or beaten with a shovel?
Something like that. Yeah,
I think Barre, he was beaten with a shovel.
And to them they said he threw himself out of a moving train.
No,
but
that he was hit by a train.
Yes,
across a spore or something.
Yes.
And
now the findings are telling us a different story. So it could be closure. It could be good for families. But where are the perpetrators?
Yes.
In their graves.
Yeah.
So what we will get is the families knowing finally what happened to their loved ones.
It's closure on an emotional level. Not at a justice level.
No, it's not at a justice level, because it can't be at a justice level when we failed. Justice delayed, you understand? We failed to can prosecute and deal with these issues timelessly, where we could have seen people be sent to prison for crimes they've committed against, families or human beings, or killing people. I mean, it's baffling me. Why didn't we act? And I don't want to cast aspersions and think, President Mbeki's admin may have interfered. But this started, that administration, the second administration, was in a position and it was supposed to implement the recommendation of the Jsc. Why was it never implemented from that time? Hopefully we'll hear from the Kgapempe Commission. And what also is just worrying me with the Kgapempe Commission is that President Ramaphosa has given them 6 months plus additional 2 months to write a report, to produce a report. So in 6 months they must be done, and then 2 months to complete. So it's 8 months. Let me tell you what is happening.
We'll almost be at local government elections.
Very smart. You got it. We'll be at local government elections. It's going to be a distraction. Report is going to come out, and the current administration will be seen as if they are doing something good in order to win the minds of the voters at that time. This is a whole strategic move to delay this thing up to the local government elections are exactly 11 months away.
Tell me something. What's the point of having any sort of commission if the recommendations are set on? If 20 years ago there was a white paper on power generation, I think, was it I can't remember which, the white paper that they sat on. Recommendations were made about
2002.
What Eskom need to do.
Yes.
It was sat on.
Yeah.
There's state capture report is being sat on.
Yeah.
Why would you commissions if we want to sit on them?
And
is there nothing that can be done to ensure that whatever's recommended is seen to finish? Do we have to rely on a AfriForum
to get pushed
to resort to lawfare for the right thing to be done?
And it's a sad case, Fresh. We are not organized as an African society, but also it is the death of the civil society movement.
Because there's also that.
Yeah.
We've all settled into our own lives, and
Yes.
it's almost like we don't care.
Yes.
If it doesn't affect me directly, I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah. And I think that's the kind of a nation or society we have become. We have left everything to the hands of politicians. Even these commissions, who do they report to? They report to the president. The president must sign off that report and hand it over to the relevant department, whether it's energy, whether it's justice or what. So it is still political office bearers that we have entrusted them in running the country. We have entrusted them with our security and the economy. Now we are even entrusting them with the judicial processes, which is supposed to be an independent. But again, and I've said it earlier, this is a clear sign that our judiciary, it's not working the way it's supposed to be working because of political interference, because of lack of resources, and also because of rogue elements that we find in the whole value chain of the judiciary, whether it's the police, whether it's the NPA, or the justice itself. Then there's politicians on this side. You know, coincidentally, this week, the parliament, both houses of parliament, passed a new bill. Now it's sitting in the desk of President Ramaphosa to change the current Public Service Act. There's a revised bill, and the most important. There's many things that are recommended there, which I think it's long overdue. But the most important one that is in there that I paid attention to, it's the bill that is reducing the powers of ministers. They are taking so many powers. So they are separating this, and it has passed. It just needs the president's signature to be an act of parliament. They are now separating the administrative civil service arm of the state and the politicians. The ministers, the powers, let me use the Senzo Mchunu's case in this instance. The Constitution on the Public Service Act or the Police Act, if you recall, in one element says the minister must consult with the commissioners and other people in order to make a certain decision. There's a provision for that. He must consult, and then he must make a decision because you are the minister. This new act is taking that away from them. They don't even have to consult. They absolutely do not have to deal with administrative issues of the country. It will be the commissioners, the CEOs, and the DGs of the department who, all of them, if you check, they are reporting to the president. You understand? Not to the political minister. They are appointed, actually, by the president, but they are reporting to the minister. They're not reporting to the president. They are appointed by the president. So if you take those powers away from political office bearers, we have dealt partially with political interference.
Oh, yes.
You understand? Because the NPA head will be able to say to the Minister of Justice, you can't talk to me about my work. The CEO of a transport entity will say to the minister, you can't interfere with my administrative roles, and so forth and so forth. So this is one good piece of legislation. After 30 years, well, it's 26 years, if you look at when did we have the Constitution, about 28 years. But I think it's long overdue. But it will assist because we can see how, and another element that is going to do is the cadre deployment thing. At the moment, ministers decide who's going to be my advisor. They decide. The Truly House tells a certain minister to say, Minister Ramokhupa, as an example, you are now a minister. You are allowed 5 advisors. 3 of them, let them be from Lutulia, let them be comrades. And I'm using the ANC as an example. It could be the DA, clearly the advisors of ministers of the DA, whoever. It will be people you bring from your political party or your comrades. And this bill is going to also cut that because these people will have to go through appointments of applying, and they are the experts in the field.
So a meritocracy.
Yes. So I think, like I said, it's a good piece of legislation.
I think it's unfortunate that you have to legislate doing the right thing. Because and you see it with governments across the world, even in the US, you see it. Half of the people Trump has in the White House have no business in any government. That people are, people appoint people that are close to, or people they trust, or people who will do their bidding. And you'd think because I've been voted in by the people, I want what is in the best interest of the people. But it's not a thing.
And
And,
there's
it's sad that we
nothing
must
wrong.
legislate, just do the right thing, hire the best person for the job.
Hire the best person for the job. And if we could have behaved in that manner, and it doesn't matter whether a person comes from your political party or what, because we are all citizens of this country, we deserve to be employed. But don't hire people because they're your comrade. And that's why we're sitting in this situation where you find the Minister of Police compromised, the Chief of Staff is compromised, the Commissioner of Police is compromised. You can see where the value chain is. And in order to avoid that, now we have to come with a legislation. Unless, it's like Udila Lebanaba Stout. The kids are naughty, so you'll have to put the rules.
Since you can't manage yourselves during study break, you now have a prefect.
Yes. That's exactly that.
And you know what? By all means, you must hire your comrades. You come from far with your comrades.
Yeah.
But hire the best possible person for the job.
So that the country can benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you look good. Can you imagine how good you look, that you've hired the right people in all positions?
But maybe they think they are looking good with what they are doing now. Because it can't be that almost every political office bearer is doing wrong and there's nothing wrong they see amongst themselves. I think they are doing right things.
Like I said, I will never begrudge any politician for a cadre deployment in any government, in any political party. Just make sure it's the best person to serve your people. That's all.
And if the person
You're not asking for too much.
It's not delivering, move and get the next person.
That's all.
There's laws that govern on how you terminate people's employment and all those things. It has nothing to do with loyalty. You are first loyal to the voters, to the citizens of this country, to the taxpayers.
Yes, sir.
Your loyalty lies there once you occupy that office.
Let's wrap it up with the 2025 medium-term budget summary.
Yes.
Under the theme Fiscal Discipline, Sustainable Growth and Restoring Public Trust is what it smelled like.
I don't know if public trust is restored. There's a little bit of stability within the South African economy. One of the greatest achievements is well, I say it's great because I know where the country comes from with the inflation rate, even during the apartheid years. South Africa introduced the guarding the inflation rate as a tool. Many countries use it, some they don't. It's only 25 in February 2000, I think so. We introduced as a tool, and we have done well, fresh in bringing the inflation down. Our inflation at some stage was around 16%. We are at 3%. It's a good start, and now they've actually put a bracket to say 1 up, 1 down. If we go worse, go not more than 4. If we become good, let's aim to go to 2% of the inflation rate. Yeah. It's a good thing. The other good thing that has happened out of this medium term, and for people who don't know, medium term is we are in the middle of the current financial year.
Sure.
So that's why it's called the medium term. So what the purpose of this whole exercise is to reflect on your plans, what you have achieved so far, what are the challenges, so that when you plan for next year, you do not have hiccups.
Sure.
But the other good thing is the South African Revenue Services. They've collected 400 million more than planned.
Yes, SARS collected 17.5 billion above expectations.
Yes, above expectation in total. Yes,
and because what caught my attention also is for 2026 there was a planned 20 billion rand tax hike, and if SARS continue to hit the ball out the park, even this hike might not happen.
Yeah. Actually, the 400 million, it's only on cigarettes and alcohol.
Oh,
but
yes.
the total,
The sin taxes.
The sin taxes, yeah. I don't know why do you call alcohol sin, man. It's not sin. Even Jesus served people wine in church, according to the reports we are getting. I feel bad doing this sin tax rate. Anyway, but that is camouflage in my words. It's a smoke screen, and I'll tell you why.
Tell us why.
If you continue to lend or to borrow, and your balance of payments is not talking to what you are collecting and you're spending, then you are defeating the purpose. Part of the expenditure that is taking or is chowing from the tax that is collected in good books by SARS it is wasteful expenditure by government departments. It amounts to billions. Now, SARS is doing a good job. The money goes to the fiscus. The Treasury distribute this money to government department. Then there's wasteful expenditure. Fresh, not of 10 million, 20 million, 200 million, 600 million, others a billion.
Yeah.
Wasteful expenditure caused by what? Maladministration and corruption. Nothing else.
And zero consequences.
You understand? And zero, yeah.
And maybe
After that,
maybe it happens because there's no consequence.
because there's no consequence. That's why it's okay. You have wasted money on wasteful expenditure, 200 million, you still get money another term. And that's where the challenge is. The first challenge. The second challenge we are sitting with, I've already said, it's our borrowing. We can't be saying we're making good money. We are saying we are borrowing. Then comes the realities and practicalities on the ground. One of the practicalities, and I heard the Minister of Finance crying about it, it's import of illicit goods, especially alcohol and cigarettes. It's still a big problem. You know, they generate a big revenue in the country, but because of illicit goods, fake alcohol and cigarettes that are coming into the country, it is damaging the fiscus. But who is to be blamed? It is the government. 3 years back, the government took a resolution about enforcing law enforcement in our borders. That's why the Border Management Authority was formed and launched. But did its arrival focus on human beings only who are illegal immigrants and not on the syntax? They are not supposed to be focusing on one element. The issue of illicit goods coming into South Africa. We can see them. Go to the streets of Joburg. It's in front of our eyes.
They came in from somewhere.
They came in from somewhere.
Expired goods are filling warehouses in Durban
Exactly.
from other countries.
The country went into chaos 2 years back regarding children who were dying due to imported poison that was in the... You understand? And I call that a national crisis.
Sure.
These things are imported.
I was going to say, you know, if you had an inspectorate that was effective, when you go to half of these plaza shops, you see brands that you'll never see on any other shelf.
Yeah.
Some of them expired.
Yes.
And not fit for human consumption in their countries of origin. Some of these warehouses sit with expired goods that are then repackaged or relabeled,
Yes.
just to change the expiry date. This is willfully poisoning people.
Poisoning the nation.
This willfully poisoning people. So
Yes.
why are we not clamping down on the import of these goods, the wholesale of these goods?
Yes. It will save lives, one, and the health of people. 2, it will create more revenue because then people will buy the legitimate goods.
Legitimate goods.
And that's the challenge. But to sum up for me, the MT medium-term budgetary framework, my other challenge is when you say a country is doing good, and this is basic economics, how do we measure that we are doing good? We can't use only the inflation and then we collected good taxes and then our GDP is growing. Who benefits, or foreign direct investment? Who benefits fresh from this? What does it say to the South African, a normal, ordinary, noble man, a lay person? What does it say to him? We have increased taxes, revenue that we have collected as a state. We have cut spending, but the cabinet is still ballooning. How does it impact on an ordinary South African? And I said the government should use 3 or 4 basics. Is it improving our security? Is it improving the livelihood, health, and education? Is it improving infrastructure? Because once your infrastructure improves, you will be creating jobs. If you expand on your infrastructure. The government 3 years back as well took a decision to say one of the 3 major projects is the roads, and Sanral is doing well so far. Then rail, then our what do you call it, our ports. We have failed on rail infrastructure. After 3 years, nothing has moved. It's only now that they've entered into consortiums between Transnet and some private companies. Only now they started engaging. But the ports as well as the rail line, which will move the economy.
Yeah.
And it's a safer, faster, it's not happening. And why? Well, you have a decision. We know what we need to do. It will create jobs. Manufacturing and the industry in South Africa, is it improving because of this stabilized economy? It's not, because we don't see the paradigm shift to can improve the lives of people.
Sure.
For me, tell me the economy is improving if I see unemployment rate moving from 33.1% to 30 in the next 6 months. After that, to 28 or to 27, then you are talking, because you have more people employed, you have more people spending, it stimulates the economy, and the government must stop stealing and wasting. Sometimes it's wastage, it's not stealing.
Yeah.
And basic wastage, like the city of Joburg wasting water, that the pipes are leaking all over, while other parts of Joburg do not have water. It's fruitless expenditure, it's wastage.
Because some of these ghosts are because for 30 years infrastructure was left unattended,
Yeah.
unserviced. There's technology to detect leaking pipes.
We have everything to can fix our problems here. We do. We at the level of technological advancement and skills that is available in the Republic of South Africa, we don't even have to import special skills into this country. We have that.
Yeah.
We are actually destroying instead of leveraging on what we found existing from the apartheid regime. We destroyed that. And me and you, we spoke a lot about how we even destroyed things that we were never supposed to destroy. I mean, we are sitting with a former decommissioned airport in the Eastern Cape that is now a landing strip for one of the Arab sheikhs and all that. And that kind of thinking, understand? We do need foreign direct investors. We need investment. But if it is not benefiting the citizens of the country, we are going to sit here and with a situation where the activists are now saying we want to embarrass the country in front of the G20 people to show them. What we have done as a nation or as a province in Gauteng towards the city of Joburg for hosting the G20, that's what we're supposed to be doing every day. That's what we're supposed to.
It must be a way of life.
That's how we're supposed to live.
Maintaining a decent looking city. And in fact, let's forget about decent looking. Let's forget about the aesthetics. Just keeping things working is what you're supposed to do. That's what people pay rates and taxes for.
Exactly.
And you should take pride in the fact that our people get services. And our collections are also top notch.
Yes.
And those that are not willing to pay for services do not get the services.
Exactly.
The people who need jobs, give people jobs to make sure that the community are abiding by municipal
To read those things.
What's expected of you
Yes.
as a resident of the city.
Give the citizens, the communities, the residents a responsibility to own where they live, to love. They must be vanguards of state assets.
Yes.
You understand? The same people there. Now you find people vandalizing state, assets and equipment and all those things. And then Botsang is passing with his car. I just look. Because I don't have that sense of saying, but why are you vandalizing that traffic light or that street light? And I will do that if I know that the government is taking care of that street light, they're maintaining it and it's functional. But if it's dysfunctional, the street light in front of my house has not been functioning for over a year.
Sure.
Now, if I see somebody working or vandalizing, I'm going to actually think the municipality is fixing it. Can't it somebody vandalizing it and stealing wires and copper wires?
Sure.
But that's the kind of society we should be building.
Also, half of savings coming from tackling social grant fraud and the payment of ghost beneficiaries.
Yes.
We keep hearing this, but nobody ever says Botsang has been getting paid 3 times, or Botsang has been getting paid 4 times.
Yeah.
Botsang is going to jail.
Yeah.
This is Botsang. You are next if you don't stop this fraud.
If you don't stop.
Why are there never any faces to this fraud?
Yeah,
Because this money is going into someone's bank account.
Yes. And it's easy.
And surely SARS has the mandate to go into bank accounts to find out whose account it is. Are they paying taxes? Where does the money come from? Who owns this bank account? And the banks have a responsibility. If this account is not FICA'd, you shut it down.
I wanted to say to you, that's why the country launched FICA.
Yes.
It was exactly for that purpose. Now we have this tool, the Financial Intelligence, whatever, Act, and there's a board is sitting and they're not using its tool. You're talking about social grants. That's another thing I have a problem with. When I hear a Minister of Finance or Minister of Social Development or any politician boasting and saying, we've got 70 million people on social grants. You can't boast with such fresh. You can't. It's wrong. The fact that we've got 17 million on social grants and you want to stand up and say, I must clap hands, you are making people dependent on the state.
Aha. There you go.
You understand? You are making people dependent.
You've answered the question.
It's wrong. We should be saying in 2024, as an example, we had 15 million on social grants. They didn't go to 17, they went to 12. Because they got jobs or they went to school or something must have happened.
And we have efficiencies in the system that make sure that only people that
deserve
to be on the dole or a grant are getting the grant.
Keeping people on the poverty line with social grants, it cannot be something I'll be proud with as a public administrator.
Yeah, but I could argue that I've got 15 million people who are unemployed and I'm looking after all 15 million of them.
Good, but what are you doing to make sure that those people get out of that squalor and poverty? You can't keep them with grants, and they're increasing. My challenge is
but I can tell them, listen, for 4 years, you better vote for me.
Yeah, but there's a problem. The challenge is that the social grants are actually, it's not even for votes. It's actually also to keep the black masses. Because majority of people who receive social grants, not because they're in majority, even if we can use the per capita or the ratio, its majority, it will be black people who get, not because of the numbers, because of poverty.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we fail to come with social programs that will take people out of poverty. And there's many things we can do as a nation with the little that we have. We are one country which has minerals more than many other countries. It's the second in the continent after the DRC. What are we doing with those minerals? They're not working for the people.
You know, Botsang, I've been saying this for the past 3 years, that it's a damn shame when you look at countries like South Africa, Botswana, the DRC, Nigeria, Angola, Rwanda, with the amount of mineral wealth these countries have, not one person should skip a meal a day.
Exactly.
Not one person. Not one.
But you need leadership to do that. You need society leadership, not political leadership, that will stand up and say, these are our minerals, this is our land, whatever comes out of here will first serve us.
You can get your profits once our people
You
have
can
been
take
served.
the profits after. Yes.
Only once our people have benefited from
Exactly.
the land they've been living on for centuries.
Yeah. And it's I don't know why is it difficult. And again, I don't know why I'm asking myself that question, why is it difficult? Because I know exactly what's the issue. It's because of neocolonialism. It's because of imperialism. It's because we have political leaders who have no guts to can rise and say, I've been put on this position by these people for queuing and voting, and I'm therefore going to put them there. Yes, they will assassinate you. Yes, the Americans and the imperialists will hate you. But if you take a political position, you must be prepared to be taken down, or else don't take it. Don't go.
We should be embarrassed that in the platinum belt of this continent, there's a place called Marikana,
Yes.
which means a place of squalor. No one should live like that.
Yeah.
No one should live like that so long that you even name the place after the way in which they
How they are living.
That in itself is,
And by the way, where's the resolution of Marikana after the Marikana massacre? You remember the government took a decision to force that mine to say they should build proper housing, they should plow back to that community. That's 13 years back, if I'm not mistaken. Marikana massacre happened in 2012. Up to now, where is that? Who has gone back to that mining company? And the president of the republic is the shareholder in them. And he should have actually taken advantage when he went into the presidency
and take
the shareholder Marikana
competent action.
and take a concomitant action to fix the mess of Marikana. He did not.
Yeah.
Not to apologize for what happened, but to say what I can do good for these people is to push for the laws and policies that will reward the people of Marikana. And we are failing as a nation.
Yo, what's on?
My brother,
We're
I'm
done
done.
for the day.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm tired. I need to go and rest.
Go on.
I'm
Great show. Where do we find you on social media?
botsangm@gmail.com and at botsangm on social media handles, and WhatsApp it's 083 884 7787.
Thank you for being another part of You're almost at 938. Because I do radio every day, 938 is on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
It's been another episode of WAW What a Week, hashtag Politricks with Fresh and Botsang, and of course you. Please keep commenting at the bottom. Let's keep the discussion going. Let's keep the conversation going, the debate going. If it turns into a fight, let's keep it respectful. Let's tackle the ball and not the man.
Yes.
Because nobody has a monopoly on insults. We can all throw insults, but can you all put up a good point to try and sway someone else or convince them otherwise? That's what debate is, not throwing mud and calling names. Thank you for joining us. We're coming to you from Discover TV. Let them be your stage. Discover TV, DISCOVR. No E at the end. Discover TV. Let them be your stage. Shout out to Trevor and Pezulu X for all of the cinematography. Kiletso Mudisakeng, executive producer. Again, apologies for wearing shades indoors. I'm post-surgery, so the delay is a lot. I'm starting to see clearly now. I'm starting to see through half of you already. So, pass up. Till next week, have a great WOW week in spite of yourselves. We're out of here.